Hi everyone, it's Jav here. Today's video is all about coffee tea staining without plastic lace. For those of you that don't have plastic lace, this is the video for you. Use stencils instead. But we're going to do it a little bit differently. We're going to do it once again in a tray in limited space, and you'll get multiple papers in one go. For those of you that are limited in your crafting area, haven't got enough crafting area to spread out, this can be done in a tray and still get amazing results as shown here. So please join me. It'll be great to have your company, and let's get to it.
Hi everyone, welcome. It's Jav here from Ready with Mirage. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I wanted to come on and show you what you can do if you don't have plastic lace. Many have made comments to me over the past few years since I did my video on using plastic lace in limited space to make your coffee tea dye staining. And I'll list some of the videos that I think are helpful if you're new at doing this. But many have actually been lamenting over the fact that they still cannot get hold of plastic lace. Well, I'm here to tell you that plastic lace, even though it has its place, and I would only be using plastic lace for the beautiful impressions it leaves in our coffee tea or colored paper dyeing. That's one of the ways to use it, and in fact it's the only way really for me to use that. However, there is another option. Here is just a few of the amazing things that you can do without the plastic lace and getting stencils. Hey everyone, it's the 17th of March 2024. I'm just going to do a quick flip through of the pages that had the stencil effect.
But this was just an overview of the tutorial you'll be seeing towards the end of this video and the results of the stencils. And the method is in limited space. So this is all the stencils used and sandwiched between papers, but you're doing layer upon layer upon layer upon layer. You don't have to spread them out on a table or on the floor. You can just do it in a tray and still get amazing results, and you get a bumper crop of not only the stencil replicas, but you will get duplicates of those that fade from either side. We'll go into it in just a moment when you have a look at some of the beautiful results here, and I hope you will enjoy the rest of this tutorial.
Now, stencils can range from all sorts of prices, and they can range from all sorts of sizes. You're going to have to pick what's best for your needs. So you can go to paint shops, wallpaper shops, craft shops, go online, eBay, Amazon, type in the type of stencil you're after and just go and look, and type in 12 by 12 inches, or if you can get the measurements, specifically for an A4 or a letter size paper format, then you can pick up some really beautiful stencils. Okay, so I'm just going to show you the stencils that I have got, and I'm just going to put them on this tray. And I usually have them in a folder. So I've got a number of these, and as you can see, a lot of the stencils have disappeared. These are some of my own stencils that I've made myself. I'll try and link that video below. But you can make your own stencils that are really beautifully shaped. So having them in a really nice setup like this, and as I've said before, mine have disappeared down here. So these are little ones that you can pick up at such low prices. Now, with some of the generic stencils, so these ones here, if you want ones that are kind of free-floating like this, then pick one that you can cut around very carefully so that it doesn't disconnect or harm the impression. You can get them to look like this if that's what you're looking for, that kind of doily look rather than a square look. But it will really depend on who you're purchasing from. So these are the generic ones. Some of them have numbers and little holes so that you can kind of keep them all together. If that is annoying you, just put a bit of duct tape or masking tape over that bit. Or, as I said before, you can cut them out very carefully. But you would need to make sure that you're not interfering with the copyright of whoever you're using these for. So you can get all sorts of fantastic shapes. Now, and this is a Tim Holtz one. But for the coffee staining side of things, so what have we got here? So we've got that one. But anyway, yeah, stencils are amazing because they have so many uses. So we've got some plastic lace here as well. So a lot of you have been wanting to get the plastic lace, can't find any. I'm so sorry that that's the case for you, but honestly, it's not going to be a problem. Even if you've got plastic lace and you think, I'd like some more, but I can't find it, well, stencils are the way to go. Okay, so I've got those ones there, but the ones that I've primarily used for my coffee staining are these ones here. So you only need generic coffee, generic tea, nothing special, and you only need plain printer paper, copy paper. 80 GSM was what I was using. Okay, so just remember those. That's it. And I do share, oh, here we go. Here's just some of the smaller ones. So I'm just going to show you the ones because you'll be probably thinking, what have I got here? And I really will do my best to share, but some of them may not be available. Okay, so we've got this. I can't remember where I got this from. I'm sure I've mentioned it because so many have asked about it. But you might want to take a screenshot of that. Obviously it's gold because I do use gold a lot, but I don't think they make this one anymore. So I'm sorry about that. I'm going to go through these ones and you can get an idea of what they look like. So it's 12 by 12. This one is, okay, so this is about 11.5 inches that way and a little bit over 8 inches this way. So that's really what you want for your papers that you're using. So yeah, just take some screenshots of these. So see what I mean? You can put some masking tape on there for those things that might be annoying you. I'm just going to put these separate because they'll probably disappear as small things do. But there's some really gorgeous ones. I think I got these from Amazon a while back. I've had them for quite a while. But you could get like about, I don't know, 16 for a really good price. This is from, oh, I love these guys. They're called scrapmats.com on eBay, but they might have their own website. And this one is ST9104-A4 because they do it as A4. But I love their ones. I think we might have seen one. Was it this one here? Yes, this was done by them as well. This is so medieval. It's ST9011/A4 for that larger size, but I think they have A5 and smaller. Okay, so this one I cut out because I didn't really like the shape of it. Where is it? We did see it just a moment ago. As you can see, I'm not very careful about my stencils. Oh, this is by the same company as well. Sorry, I will have to do some cleaning with this stuff. Scrap Mats Double T. And this number is ST9029-A4. So that's that one. It's beautiful damask, very intricate. Okay, so let me just put those out of the way. But they were from Amazon, and I think this was from Amazon, and so was this. They're the ones that came as 16 together. Really a great deal, and really beautiful stencils. Okay, so this one was the one that I was telling you about, but there was something in there. I think it was a big bow, and I went, I'm not really a bow kind of person. So I just cut it out and had these as separate pieces, which are great for smaller things to decorate. Say, for example, some envelopes or tags, or smaller cards, journaling cards. Okay, so there's that one. I think these ones that are being shown now are from eBay. So we've got some numbers here, ST5657. As I said, I'll try and link below where I got these from. Number 6, for some reason, that's what they've got there. Here's another one with some numbers. It's beautiful. ST5447. And then there's that one. One thing I want you to know is that you can pick up some of these if you're doing a lot of coffee tea staining in limited space. I've got a number of these. I use them for projects, especially that I have to do over consecutive days, but I want it all together and I don't want it sort of spread out or all over my craft room. I will have these trays, and then you can stack them up. But I also use them for any of my mixed media projects where I'm needing to paint, or if you're doing your napkins, you can lay down your baking paper or your silicone mats and go for it. And there, it's all done, it's in one place, and then you can move on. And if you're needing to do it, I find this helpful. And when I'm coffee tea staining, I'm finding that even though I do from time to time use my my container tubs, I'm finding that I can get as much done with these, and they will dry a lot faster, especially if I halve them and put them, do my stenciling or plastic lace on one, but I've still got more to go. Then I can do it on this one, and I tear it this way, and then I've got another one over there. You can't see it because it's under a pile of stuff, but then I'll have another one and it goes across this way. And so therefore you're still in your limited space without plastic lace, because you can be using your stencils with or without plastic lace, and therefore you can dry them out. You can take them outside, leave them in the sun, or leave them in warm directional heat, safely away from your heater in winter. So you can get a lot done. And yeah, so these are really great for anything that you're needing in your craft room. Even if you're collecting things together to do a project, you can put them in this tray and away you go. And if you're watching TV with the family, you can put it on your lap and you can be working on it. Great for your fussy cutting as well. Whatever you need, it's there. It's wonderful. So I think I've got, about 20 or 15. It could have been 15 or 20 for around about Australian dollars, $35. They're serving trays. That's what they are. So now let's have a look at the deliciousness of using my method. Now, it's true, if you've got the space, absolutely do this, and then just put your stencil on top on one page, and then move on to the next one and move on to the next one. If you've got all the space in the world, go for it. But if you don't, I'm going to show you what you can do by using these layers. Now, the important thing to remember about this though is, say for example, we're working with this. What you want to do is, you don't want, using my method, you don't want just one paper and one paper like this, and then you get another stencil on top, and then you do another one like this. I know this will make sense once you start watching it. Okay, what's going to happen if you do that is you will get an interplay of the previous design and then the one on top or below, and it's going to integrate the two together. That can look awesome, but if you're trying to get a distinct sort of image like what we've got here, you're going to need extra papers to sandwich your pieces in between. So what I would recommend is starting at 2 is the minimum, 3 is medium, and 4 and 5 is the maximum. But you're going to do it top and below. So I'd be going at 3, but sometimes even 3 maybe not be enough. And then it depends on the thickness of your paper as well. If it's really thick, well, then it's no problem. But if you're only using 80 GSM or 90 or even 70, you're going to have an overlay, an interplay of designs, and they can look great. But if you're after something distinct, then this is the way to go. Now, what is interesting with this is you will get a ghost effect and it duplicating, but as it duplicates, it gets lighter and lighter and almost fades. And then you will get some plain papers in between. Honestly, that is absolutely fine. That's what you want. You want to have different varieties and versatility so that the journal can look a little bit more characteristic without it having to be the same. That's what I would prefer in my taste. So I don't want to push my taste on you, but that's what I would recommend. So you can end up getting the same impression but faded between the layers of papers. So that's what is the secret to this particular way of doing it. So, for example, if you have got the space and you can spread out, well, why not do that with each of these? You're already going to the trouble of making one impression. Well, why not just lay one down with the method, lay another piece of paper down, then place the paper down, and then, say we'll just do 3. But you'll be able to gauge that even 4 and 5 can be great. And it depends on the stencil too. So you put down your 3 papers. For those of you that can spread out, you're dipping all your papers in to your tray. Out comes the first paper. You're going to lay it down. Next paper that you've dipped in, put it down. Same with this one. Then goes the stencil. Then you put your paper in the dipping stuff, paper in the brew, and da-da. You walk away, go to your next one. This is for those of you that have got the space to do different stencils and have sort of an army base of different stencils going down your table or on your floor. But if that's not practical in your home or household, then doing it in limited space is the one that I like to do. On my workbench here, how many could I do? Okay. So I could fit 1, 2 there. So reasonably, and maybe, so I could do 6 at a time. But why not, if you're going to be spreading these out as just one layer, why not have the extra paper in between? And then just lay them all out flat. They will dry fast, but the secret to this is patience, and do not check what you're doing. Don't lift it up. Once you do, you are actually compromising the process. This takes a process, just like you would when we were doing dark, in a dark room for photography, and we would be developing our film. That takes a process and you can't speed it up. So you need time. And what's great about the method that I love to use, the limited space method, is you can walk away. Yes, it's going to take a while to dry. Just do fewer layers in each tray or in each tub. So all I'm saying, everybody, is that this process will work if you don't interrupt it, and let it do its thing. You go off and do your thing, come back, and you will have a harvest, a bumper crop of harvest of beautiful stuff. Okay, so now that we've discussed all of those things, let me show you what you can do. And then after that, I will be doing a, you'll be able to watch the tutorial of how to do this method, and so that you can get similar results, and then you can give them a try. So I've got A3 paper here as well, so that's another thing. Okay, so usually I use between 3 metric cups of water boiling in a big jug, and then I stir everything up. 3 tablespoons of heat coffee, generic, and 3 tea bags, generic. However, if I need more, I will just increase the size to 4 cups, 4 tablespoons, 4 tea bags. That is generally the way that I go. Sometimes I might want things a little bit darker, especially with the spray bottle. So when I'm dipping everything in, I will do that lighter than what I put in my spray bottle. So I do use a spray bottle, and I do use the dipping in method just to speed things up. I combine the two, as you will see in the video. Okay, so one of the things though to mention is sometimes this can happen because you're using plastic. It can sort of glassify where the coffee will pool, but it's not going to always interfere, and you can get paper injury happening as well, but not all the time. All right, so this is why you want to have papers sandwiching the stencil from starting from 3, I would recommend, up to 4 or 5. You will have to play around with your numbers on either side, because have a look at this. I managed to get these results from this stencil here. This was 1, 2, okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So that's 5 papers, and guess what? 11, 12, 13, and that's it, 13, and just a little bit here. Now, isn't that remarkable? From one stencil, and this is why I encourage you to sandwich these. So what I mean by sandwiching, again, so that you can see what I'm talking about. Okay. All right, so there's your stencil. And so see how you get almost the negative effect on that side. So let's just pretend we'll just put these on this side and these on this side. That's the other one, so we don't need that one. Okay, so here it is sandwiched. So what have we got on this side? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. Okay, and sometimes what will happen, either the fourth one or the third one, when it's in contact with the previous stencil, because we're layering everything up, remember, it will kind of do a blend of both, and sometimes that is even prettier than just the stencil on its own, a blend of 2 stencils, and it happens naturally. But remember, it's random, and it's something you're going to just have to keep playing at and working with so that you can get the results that work for you. So remember, we're sandwiching this between 1, 2, 3, 4, and on this side is 3, but I would even recommend going up to, I don't know, 4 on each side, and sometimes even 5. You can get spectacular results. You play around with your numbers, you'll see what I mean. But if you just do 1 and then 1 on the other side, you will have a very confusing lot of stencil formations if you're just doing a paper in between. But at the same time, that could look really cool as well. So that's what I'm trying to get at. So if you don't want to compromise the stencil look, then definitely do the layers that I was talking about. Okay, so this one here is definitely, I reckon these were like this. Well, that's not the right one, that's the other one. But anyway, there we go. All right, so that's what I wanted to show you with that one. And yeah, you can get some really beautiful results from this. So here's another one. And as you can see, as the layers progress, 1, 2, 3, 4, we're counting both sides, 5, 6, 7, 8, and there we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Just remember, you're sandwiching your stencil between 3 to 4, maybe 5. It depends on you. Okay. All right, so we've done those ones. I just wanted to show you. And let's go through them. So this was done with this batch. So this one, I kept losing count of my papers. So I was in a bit of a hurry and I wasn't thinking clearly. So some of them didn't even get 2, or some of them didn't get 3 or 4. But you still get tremendous results with this. As I said, sometimes it's a random thing. It's not always going to be perfect, but I do love that ghost effect. Okay, and then you even get the pages inked up for you. And not only that, let's just show you this one, which I absolutely love. very crinkly. But yeah, coffee stain. Okay. So here's the one that I was telling you about that goes that funny thing. Don't worry too much about it. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. It's pretty random. But anyway, these were... So you will get some that are just going to be a little bit plainer, but then you start getting this effect. And this now is where you're getting two images overlaying, which can look interesting. And look, it's a random thing. You're going to get something different each time, but that's what makes it so exciting. Okay, so even with paper injury, I mean, the effects can be extraordinary. So as I said before, sometimes you will get more duplicates that fade, other times you don't. Okay, so this one didn't work as well. And some stencils are better than others for this, I have to say. Okay, so these are the bigger ones.
I meant to say A3 paper. So this is A3 paper. You can use the 12 by 12 stencils onto A3 paper, but you can also use the 12 by 12 on A4 paper or US letter size, as you will see now.
Let me just show you what I mean. See this one? You can use it for your smaller papers, right? But this is where you can be really clever. You can also think about the papers underneath getting some of that as well. So the way you lay this down, how I laid it down, was so it was laid out like this, and then this was laid down, and that meant other papers could pick up the rest of the print. So that's the way that you can use these on just your normal size paper. And be creative with the way you lay it out as well, because you can get some beautiful results. So look at this. Isn't that cool? Well, I don't know. You might not think so. But I think that looks amazing. The colors are beautiful with the tea and the coffee together. And there you have that. Just stunning. And then you get an embossed effect. So there was a bit of paper injury there, but I love that. I love anything distressed and old. It just suits the time. Because I like my journals to have a historical feel to them, like they've been heirloomed and a family legacy kind of thing down through the ages. Okay, so that's what I wanted to show you. Look, so sometimes, oh, see, then you get some more of these. That's why layering the papers is going to give you, so let me show you. So these would have been top and bottom. Even those ones, you can see just here and here and there. So that's how I would have laid it out. And that meant that we got those. This. And then this. So that's the way you can work with these papers, layering them, because they add so much character and a stunning result when you layer them up. And you're getting more for your work. What is it? More bang for your buck. You get more from your efforts. So you're already going to the efforts of setting everything up, coffee staining, making your brew. It's a lot of work, isn't it? Well, why not make it count? Give yourself a double, triple treat of getting more done, just with rather than just one at a time. Now this was sort of at the top, of the thing, and that's why this gets so dark. And a lot of the coffee, if you're moving it around a bit, sort of comes to the top and swirls around. The secret also is don't have it too soggy. You might need to dip out a little bit of the liquid, but you would need to make sure you're careful not to make it dry as bone. Okay, so they're the freestanding ones that you can mix and match all over the page to get really pretty results. If you've only got smaller ones, don't be afraid to use them. You don't have to get big ones, just small ones. So for example, if you can imagine your paper here, so just use the stencils you have, everybody. You don't have to use big stencils at all. So if you've only got these small little ones, so I've just pulled out a few. You can cut those off if you want, but make sure you kind of cut around them. But yes, you can cover them up, but you can make some really pretty designs, but you don't have to use them as is. You can spread them over 2 pieces of paper like so. So if you're not into random, then you can do them like that. So it doesn't have to be a big one. So you can use smaller ones to create some beautiful looking papers with your stencils. It doesn't have to be the full size at all. Just use the stencils you've got and really enjoy the process, because you'll get some really stunning results. And that's what I did with these. Isn't that really pretty? So that's what I mean. You can use smaller stencils and then you're even in more control. So these little ones, I think I got like, could have been 40, maybe even up to 50 in one. And they have a little ring binder thing. That's why there's that hole there. If you've got a lot of these and you can get them really reasonably priced, you can then layer them out and be really strategic in the way that you set them out, and you'll get beautiful results every time. So remember, the little small ones, they do provide a beautiful look as well. So if you don't have large ones, it doesn't matter. Just use what you have and enjoy this experience. Just give it a go. You will. It's not like a great expense if you've just got great, you know, if you've got the paper, you've got the coffee, you've got the tea, go for it. And there again, I've got different sizes. So this is not one. This is 1, 2, 3. Different stencils. They're the smaller ones. You would have seen them at the beginning of this video. But it's a gift that keeps on giving when you layer them, because you get these awesome, fantastic results. Great for your mixed media projects, even if you're not going to be copy staining, using them for signatures. But see this now, whatever other stencil I've got underneath, it's picking up the images below its own. It's because I put the stencil this way and laid it like so. I think this might have been at the very top, maybe, I'm not sure. But see, how cool is that? And some of the papers have stuck together. I just don't want to pull them apart. So if I was using these, I would be using them, gluing that down, and then if you ever watch Rachel of Roxy Creation, hey Rachel, she has a lot of wormy old book page and so forth. Well, If you can't get wormy and wonky old book page, you can make your own, because these sometimes stick together. You can rip them apart and then glue them back, and then you've got your own aged look. So it's not like you have to have the 12 by 12. If you can't get 12 by 12, don't worry. If you can get these size, the A4 or the letter size ones, then this permits you to make a customized larger piece. If you're doing a large journal, so for example, if you're doing, so normally the journals are usually this size, right? Normally they're that size. But if you're going to go for a large journal, then copy staining a larger piece, this is an A3, which is 2 A4s side by side, then you're getting the ability to customize your images as well. So that's the other thing. You can be putting 2 down. Sorry, they're not matching these, obviously. But you can put 2 together. Again, it's saving you time. And the other thing is, you can cut this in half and then turn it into your smaller, your basic size. So cut this down and then so forth. So you might even save time just doing them 2 at a time on one page. Now the reason why this is so dark is because it was at the very top. Okay, so this is where you just want to put plain paper. You can lightly dip it in your brew and then put them on top, but just cover them all up and then you won't get that dark look. But my husband and I love this look.
The reason why this was so dark, as I've said, it oxidizes when it's at the top. Layers tend to oxidize, and that's why you get that really dark look. The layers below don't, but you can get that dark effect at the very below deck. In other words, at the very bottom of your tray, you can get the same kind of dark look because all your coffee basically ends up down there or downstairs. But yeah, that oxidization, what you get when you don't cover the stencils that are at the top.
The plethora of possibilities when you have stencils. And for those of you that are in limited space, limited time, the tray method and using the layers is going to speed up your work. Even though you have to wait for it to dry, you're doing other things in the meantime and you haven't taken over your home with all this drying business. Many of you have that option, others don't. So I want to make it practical for everybody. So the method can work for those that can spread this out with just one stencil at a time, but definitely sandwich it between 3 or 4 papers, even if you're doing one stencil at a time. So for those that both style, the ones that can spread but are doing one stencil on one paper at a time, definitely sandwich that stencil within 4 to 5 papers. It is so worth your while and worth your time and effort. But for those of us that can't spread out, you can do it in the tray, as you will see in the video. So I hope this has been helpful, inspiring. Please share this video with others. Please enjoy the rest of the tutorial. If you don't have plastic lace, even if you do have plastic lace, get out those stencils. Enjoy your stencils in our mixed media projects. Why not use them in our coffee tea staining? Enjoy the process with me. Welcome everyone. I'm back with more coffee staining. You probably think that's all I do. And it has felt that way, I know. But anyway, it's the 14th of March 2024. I thought I'd let the camera roll while I'm doing my work and you can watch and see my method. But I just wanted to let you know I'm using both the dipping method and the spray bottle method. And in here, which will need a bit of a stir, I'll just grab this here, this toothbrush. which shouldn't even be where it is. And so this is about 4.5 to 5 cups of metric cups of water with 5.5 tablespoons of coffee and 3 tea bags generic. I just go with the flow. There's nothing in particular about my methods. I just go with the flow. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm just using 80 GSM plain copy printer paper, and that's it. So yeah, if I end up doing anything, I might add a little bit of vintage photo into this if I want to, but I may not. So I always have a jug. Everything stays there. I did this overnight. So this method can be done with your plastic lace, but it's again all about the stencils for those of you that cannot get plastic lace, or those of you who've got a couple of plastic lace but not enough. Well, stencils are the way to go. Stencils are great because they have multi-purpose functions. So that's why they're a really great investment. And if you look out for specials, you'll be able to get some really beautiful ones. Whether this goes on to YouTube, I don't know. But I thought I'd just show you my way of doing this. Okay, I do recommend that you do this in well-heated rooms if it's winter, or if it's summer, do it outside. In other words, get everything done inside and leave everything to dry outside. It's true we're dealing with layers, so you need to be patient, let it do its thing. Air dry is the best, but doing it layers, you're getting more done in limited space, and you're getting beautiful ghost echo duplicates that sort of fade as each stencil, as it disappears from each stencil. So I might just do a little bit, because I can always pour this back in. Yeah. Okay, now I just wanted to say that the larger your spray bottle is, the better. These are killers on the fingers because they're very small unless they've got a good system, but these are a lot easier to hold in your hand. You can make them as light as you like and just keep filling up your water if you feel it's a bit heavy. These trays are like serving trays. These fit 2 A4s, so your basic size paper fit side by side beautifully, which allows also for A3, and I'll be using A3 as well as A4. If you feel like you need to dry your stuff sooner and quicker, I'm going to show you what I'll be doing. You just get a couple extra trays and you can then tier them this way. So once you've done the bottom tray, then start working on this one, and then you can do another one on top. In that way, you haven't got thick layers of the limited space method, but you're still in limited space, but you're allowing things to dry a lot faster. So yeah, now I am going to be using this to begin with because the bowl underneath for my dipping isn't big enough to accommodate the A3, but yeah. Okay, so at the beginning of this video there'll probably be a flip through of all the papers, so since that's not necessary for me to do now, I may as well get started and you can join me. Alright, so I'll put it this way so hopefully you can see everything I'm doing. I left this overnight. You can put a bit of salt in there if you're worried, but you can keep it in the fridge so that it has time to really release its color, and it's boiling hot water. I feel that is the best. Let it cool and then you can get onto it. And I'll just put a bit down there, and also I like to work with these. So as I said, there's no particular way, whatever works best for you. Now, I have noticed that these papers seem to be a lot easier to tear, but they thicken up beautifully. So don't worry too much about paper injury. Don't worry about that at all. But just be very, very gentle when you're dealing with a larger piece of paper. It's got more susceptibility for it to tear. Okay. Now we're going to do a couple because my method is that you get your stencil, you sandwich it between 3 to 5 papers on either side to allow for it to develop and do duplicates that become fainter the further away they get from the stencil. So remember, stencil, but you need a few pages. Otherwise, it's going to conflict with the previous pattern. So you need to keep mindfulness on how many you're doing. go. And that is that, everyone. We have finished. So pressing in where I can remember the stencils are. I just remember that when you're trying to tip things out, try not to make this move like I just did then. But I think it should be safe because it's almost like the stencils suction onto the onto itself. So don't worry too much, but you just got to be mindful of that. And that's another way, if you're running out of coffee and you need some more, well, there's plenty of it here. So, and keep an eye on it. As it's drying, it may just have too much. And then just, you know, tip some of it away if you need to. Or you can just get your sponge and sponge it up if you prefer, if you're worried. But yeah. You know, that's great. I'm really pleased. Oh, so you can just see how it's pooling over there. So sometimes you just need to do a bit of a check and see how much of it there is. Sometimes I usually let it run on the top. But it is pooling a bit. So I'll just get a little bit of the excess. See, there's quite a lot still in there. But that should be good now. Okay. You'll get a feel for it. You will. You just still want to make sure it's not bone dry. You need to make sure there's still liquid running around. See, there's still liquid running around, but we want that to stay. But if it's like a sea deep kind of feel, well, then definitely get rid of the excess. And whatever's left over can go back into the jug, and it can go, see, you can do this, and it can go back into the fridge. And it'll last a couple of days there, especially if you've added a little bit of salt to the mix, because the salt acts as a preservative. So, and it doesn't really, if you just only put a little bit, it doesn't really affect the results. Now, I could have done a bit more, but I won't. I'm absolutely exhausted. But now, this is what you can do. If it's going to go outside, I've got these kind of things. Something broken, it's kind of from that. It doesn't matter, it's just plain paper. And then I'll put something heavy on the top. Yeah, I don't know, something, even the jug could go on the top. So when it's outside, you can spread it wherever you like, making sure that nothing blows away. But if it's inside, make sure it's a well-heated room. Otherwise, it's going to take even longer for this to dry. So if it is your setting, then I would do a fewer layers but with more trays, and then you can tear them up and they should just air dry, especially if you've got a window open letting in some air, a fan going at the top. If you've got whatever heating you've got, try and put it nearby. But if it's like a fire or a gas heater, then please make sure you keep it at a distance, allowing for directional heat, but nice and safe. I know I'm talking to adults, and it's just that, I don't know, it's just my way of keeping us safe, because safety and caution and care comes before crafting. All right, so thanks everybody. Yes, I don't do oven dry. I just don't believe in it personally, and the reason why is because I know I'm going to forget them and they're all going to cause problems. So yeah, okay, so yeah, there's plenty of juice here. And if you feel like there's air bubbles, just sort of go like this, push them out. That's the way to do it. But I think these are pretty good. All right, everyone, thank you so much for joining me. Appreciate you all, and I hope you're having a great day and enjoy your coffee staining experience with your stencils. You don't need plastic lace.
Mentioned at the beginning of this video, here's the extra bonus tutorial just to see my process. I thought I'd tag it on at the end, and I hope it'll be helpful.
Hey everyone, welcome. It's Jaffy from Medieval Mirage. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for joining me. So the 9th of March 2024 is today. I hope you're all well. How I made this particular mixture, it was, I'm sure it was 3 tea bags and 3.5 tablespoons heaped of coffee, generic, just plain old cheap stuff, and 3.5, maybe 3.5 cups of hot boiling water. I've let it sit and now I'm ready to do my thing. Okay, so let's get started.
So I'm just showing you here that I'm adding a little bit of blue, a light blue. I like to add it, it just creates a nice look, shabby look, just a little bit. But anyway, the nozzle wasn't working, so I had to improvise by just pouring it in. So anyway, that's what happened. And of course there were clumps of paint that had dried up, but it's all about the process and having a lot of fun.
this one on this side, and we'll just finish it off like that.
The oxidization effect, when I showed you this result, I just finished off the tutorial with how I achieved this, and that's what you just saw moments ago and will most likely see after this.
And that's it. All right, there we have it, everybody. Thank you for joining me. So thank you, everybody. Please take care. Subscribe if you're new to my channel. We'd love to have you join us. To all my beautiful subbies, you are gorgeous and I appreciate you so much. Anyway, go out, go forth, enjoy your coffee staining in limited space without plastic lace. Use the stencil way in a tray. Anyway, I know I'm a bit geeky, sorry. Anyway, enjoy your day, everybody. Please let me know how you go with this. I hope it's helpful, and please share this link with others, and take care, everyone. Thank you. Bye.